So, all right. How's everybody doing? Um, it is February the 1st, 6:26 a.m. Eastern Time. Um, it's a bit crazy. World's coming to an end, but if you gotta go, might as well go with a smile. So I figured I'd have a few laughs on the way out the door, right? So, I mean, it's all coming to a shit end anyways, right? Right? It can't go well. Either way it goes, it can't go well. Not for us. No, not for us. No. Um, Now the '90s, that was a good time. That was a really cool time because the music was great. Um, I had just kind of started smoking weed in the '90s, probably like about 92, 93, somewhere around there. Um, I'd already been drinking, been playing in a band. We already had like a battle of the bands, and we're whatever. So yeah, I can remember when "Smells Like Teen Spirit" came out, and I was already in a band by that point. And yeah, it was crazy, man. Um, to be going to school with people that eventually they get fake IDs and stuff, and they're coming back to school bragging about how they went to a bar, and I was like, oh yeah, we've played there before. They've gotten me drunk before, yeah. Well, whatever you're trying to brag. I'm like, fine. Here's a flyer for our next gig at the fucking. I'm full of shit. Be there. There you go. There's a flyer for you, fuckface. See if me, the drummer, and the bass player aren't already there and on stage when you show up. But no, it was a really cool time. I went to I was finishing high school. I guess I went through. I graduated in '94, so I guess my freshman year was '90. So yeah, I started in '90, graduated in '94, went to college for a year. That was crazy. That was a really, really crazy time. Um, a lot of weird, crazy shit happened. That kind of would end up defining my life. You know, weird coincidences and weird stuff that just I don't know. Is really cool. I'm just realizing that's kind of how I don't know if anybody else does that, but you take stock and inventory of what's going on with you. Just to check in with self, see how things are going, and you kind of take stock and inventory and like, fuck, man, dude. Last time you checked in was however long, you know, because you're just living life. There's like all these patterns and stuff that you just live. You just do them. You don't question. You don't question tradition. You just do it, right? Because that's what we do on Christmas. Because that's what we do on Thanksgiving. Because it's tradition. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course, you can bring a fucking tree into this house. What the fuck's going on in there, man? Keep hearing noises. I might be the heater kicking on, moving doors and stuff around. My headphones with the headset on. I feel extra vulnerable. It's dark in here anyways, so I can just picture something like walking. You know what I mean? Film my own demise. How great would that be? The number one viral video is me getting taken the fuck out. I've got a really really fucked up sense of humor, and that's fine. I'm not I like I said, checking in. I check in from time to time with I watch. I've got a good a test. In case anyone's wondering like how fucked up you are out there, a good test is to watch not any like I think his modern his recent one they did on Netflix. I think he kind of toned it down a bit. I didn't watch all of it, but it did seem like he had toned down quite a bit. Oh, he wasn't going to stop. But on top of that, he also explained, rather than just doing it, he actually explained his humor, I guess, because like after 25 years of doing it, he's kind of like, it's time for those checks to start coming in. And he's very funny, but dear Lord, is that dude dark, man. Like his lightest stuff still makes you go like, oh, no, I shouldn't be laughing at that. And that's like his lightest stuff, much less his darkest stuff. So yeah, but yeah, he explained like the whole gallows humor and stuff like that, and it's hey, whatever, it works for him and whatever. But my test is you check in from time to time. How long can you hang in with an Anthony Jeselnik? Like if you find it fucking hilarious, dude, sorry, this world's got you. It already took your shit. You're fucked. Sorry to be the one to break it to you, but your shit's fucked. All fucked. Now again, not judging it. I would go looking for his older stuff before, you know what I mean, while he was still while expecting to make it with that humor style. Before he'd I won't say sold out because he didn't. I don't think he sold out. I don't think he ever did. But there's a couple people that did, and comedians, man, that's going back to the '90s. Is there was a golden age of comedy, followed by a golden age of music. We have golden ages of music, from time to time. These era defining shit, like when the Beatles, the Stones, Sex Pistols, Ramones. What I mean? It all seems to be in pairs. You know what I mean? Pearl Jam, Nirvana. Those are the two biggest ones. Soundgarden was and Alice in Chains were another pair, but that was for more heavier, darker people that liked a little bit sludgier, more Black Sabbath. You know what I mean? It's not. I won't say. I mean, I guess it was. It was. It created a whole new category that I thought. I won't say a whole new category. It was. It was already known around everywhere as the college rock. College rock, like Sonic Youth and stuff like that, and they brought it to the kind of. It was already going off everywhere, but it kind of culminated with "Smells Like Teen Spirit," which unleashed the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which were already out there. But I'd been listening to them for a while and trying to get people to listen to it, and they just didn't have anything. Um, they didn't want to listen to it. I've heard some disturbing things about Anthony Kiedis recently, but I mean, I'd have to talk to the guy. One thing that you don't know until you talk to somebody. You know, they were talking about they were basically saying how like when you think about his age now, you're not thinking about his age back when he was heroined out, coked out, and shit like that. And I'm not excusing, explaining. There's a big difference. There's a huge difference. There's a difference between understanding and condoning. You know what I mean? There just is, and it's the difference between justice and vengeance. Justice is measured out fairly. It's parsed out equally to what happened and a bit of compensation because nothing will make you ever whole. A wrong was done to you. So you need to kind of somewhat make whole for the damage, and then you need to punish the person. But the point is not to obliterate them. And somewhere along the line, we lost sight of the fact that these are human beings that made mistakes, as we all have. You just haven't got your card pulled yet. And when you do, you're going to have stuff to answer for, aren't you? Right? To whoever it is. Whether you die and you're face to face with the universe, just a conscious sentient being is like, mm, their ideas are a bit limited compared to what I am. But sure, if you want to call me that, fine. Who knows what the fuck is out there? We don't know. The problem with let's stick with the 90's because otherwise I'm gonna start going into the universe and shit. So the 90's were again, I started smoking pot around 92, and so that can like, I won't say consumed me, but I mean it became like major part of my life of something I was drinking pretty heavily on the weekends. Um, yeah, by like 13 or so, I was already drinking and getting drunk on the weekends. Like pretty much didn't miss a weekend. Um, so when pot came along, there was no like alcohol smell. I'd already smoked cigarettes, which I said I was never going to do because my dad smoked and it's not good for you and yada yada yada. But anyway, so if anything, it would be less likely to smell. Alcohol's got a strong smell, whereas pot does have a strong smell. But I mean, blow it out a window, whatever the fuck you do, and you're pretty good. Um, let your clothes air out and shit, and no hangovers or anything like that. So I was like, fuck yeah, I mean, we're good to go, And so I told myself because I didn't know what the I was starting on this journey. I didn't know what the effects would be like if your grades start slipping at all. No more smoking on the weekend, man. You can't. You just can't. Because one thing I told myself when I was younger was I gotta finish this fucking school and I gotta get that fucking piece of paper. Not for me, not because I want to, but because I've gotta. If I'm gonna continue to live in this world, I decided that like around 7 years old, man. If I'm gonna live on my own in this world, there's a requirement to have a diploma at least. You don't necessarily have to have college. I knew that much by then. I also knew that I hated fucking homework. I didn't want to do homework. So I wanted to do as little as possible in my entire academic career and still pass with good enough grades that I wouldn't be ashamed. But I also didn't try, like at all. On every single progress report, every single report card, does not apply himself. And that always pissed me off. That always pissed me off because no, I didn't apply myself to your plan or what you think I could accomplish. But the plan that I promised myself at 7 years old that I was going to graduate from your fucking shitty institution with that fucking piece of paper that you can demand that I have, that I go ahead and work a job in order to do all that shit. I'm going to play your game. I'm going to play it my way. You have any idea what the discipline it takes for a 7-year-old to decide I'm not doing any homework anymore? You know what the answer to that is? You have to keep your fucking behavior up to par. You have to keep your attendance up, like pretty much top notch. And you have to ace all your tests, all while not doing homework. Some of them might hit like 95. Some might hit 94. There are a couple of years that were a little bit close to getting a little bit sketchy. If it wasn't for makeup, I probably would have failed Louisiana history. But that didn't fucking Louisiana history, did I? Hate Louisiana history. Old Twyla. God damn, dude, I drew a yin yang sign because I was big into yin yang signs back then. I was big back into not any kind of like Eastern philosophy or anything like that, but I believe that for every good there's a little bad, and for every bad there's a little good. Right? It's a little bit. No matter how bad there's a good, and no matter how good, there's a little bad. If you honestly think about it, almost every decision you ever make is a scale. The positive versus the negative. If there is more positive than negative, you do it. Because look how much more you gain. If there's more negative than positive, if you do it, you're not smart. Are you? Because look how much you lose. Now, if it's someone you love, then sure, yeah, I get you might put in a little bit more, but if they don't eventually put some back in, the power dynamics can be all fucked up, and you're never going to go back to a stasis, maintainable stasis. And I guess that's the main thing is that most relationships don't have that. A good, safe, reinforcing. You know what I mean? Like a recommitment to each other every, you know what I mean, however long. Even if nothing else, in this the symbol of showing of love, like I won't say like a grand, huge gesture, but you know, some kind of gesture. Frequent enough that you know you never take the other person for granted. You'll feel when you haven't done something for the other person in a while. If you have like a conscience, if you feel it all in your soul, if you actually love them. If you don't love them at all, then no, you won't think about them when you go and make decisions because you're in love with you. And that's fine. But just don't pretend. That's the problem is pretending that you have love to give when you only have love. You only accept deposits. You don't give out. You might give out loans. You might do that, but as far as no, there's no handouts at this bank. Deposits, sure. We take deposits, yeah. 24 hours. Yeah, 24-hour deposit. Oh, fuck. You need something? What do you need? We'll try and accommodate you, okay? Did you make your deposit? Well, how are we going to accommodate you if you don't make your deposit? I know you've made 5 deposits, but you got to make 6 deposits for every accommodation. I know I never gave you the rules before, but here's the rules now. I'll be given to you as you break them. That's how you know when you've done bad, because I'll be yelling at you about rules that I have in my head that I have never told you about. So, going through the 90s, I got to watch a lot of that kind of stuff from a school vantage point of being single, being on the outside, looking at all the people going through their different relationship cycles. Kind of like Jane Goodall, you know what I mean? I definitely did. I didn't interact as much as I could. I just stayed from interacting with them. At first, it was like, oh man, I wish we could, play the reindeer games. And as I started going, like, man, they're stupid. What would be the point of these fucking playing these reindeer games with these fucking people? It doesn't serve any purpose. And then more time went on, I was like, dude, I am so glad I'm not one of these fucking reindeers running around. I don't know what's wrong with me or what is, why I have no desire to be in their little tribe, but I have no desire to be in their tribe. But back then, if you saw somebody with like blue hair, it was much more rare. Blue or green hair, they're more likely to get laughed at. So that's how you knew they were cool people, because they didn't give a fuck. Sometimes you'd see them and they have like a greenish kind of hair, and you could tell that they had bleached it. guy or girl, they'd bleached their hair and just didn't give a fuck because it turns that green after a while. And just didn't care that it was turning green. They thought it was kind of cool, kind of Joker esque, you know what I mean? And so you see someone walk like that, like, okay, that person doesn't give a fuck. I want to meet that person. Because all these people walking around just give so much of a fuck about the wrong things. So if you're not fucking focused on your fucking clothes, you're probably focused on the right things. If you're not focused on you and how you look and, you know, if your lips are the right color, if your fucking skin's the right fucking complexion, if you're more worried about other shit that's important, you're not tied up with that superficiality. You're worried about deeper shit. You might be even looking for answers. The problem is that everyone's afraid to dream up answers. You notice the difference? Looking. Did Dr. King say, I'm looking for a dream? I'm looking for a person with a good vision of it. No, I have a dream. And then a lot of the dreaming just seemed to stop. I get it. That was the whole point of the assassination of those two leaders, was to instill fear in anyone else who would stand up to take their place, and or the crowds that might join to watch. It's the same thing that a lynching would do, that the later Confederate statues would do. Remember where you are. No? Then how come most of the Confederate statues went up right around the time of the Civil Rights Movement? Because sicking dogs on people, making them sit in the back of the bus, hitting them with billy clubs, pouring fucking fire hoses, and hanging them from the trees suddenly became unfashionable when it got put on the front of the newspaper. Well, it turns out people weren't really all that great with that. They're kind of fine with a separate class. You know what I mean? Like, okay, they're not, you can't, whoa, what is that? But what did you do to him before? Because that's not just hanging. That's, he's bloated up and shit like he was in a river. Okay, you guys are sick. And that's why you guys won't say what's actually on your mind. That's why you say the dog whistle stuff. These tax rates. Of course, we know that this is all this urban development. We all know this. DEI, CRT. NGRs. That's what you mean. Right? I wish to God you'd just go ahead and say it, because one, you could stop all the bullshit lies. Wouldn't that feel great to just stop lying about states' rights and about lazy and about like not intelligent? I mean, two young black ladies in Louisiana solved like a 2,000-year-old math problem. You got to give up those old fucking stereotypes, dude. They're all criminals. Yeah, when you have a poor people and you force them to be poor, when they get a chance, like Black Wall Street, you burn it to the ground to ensure their poverty. But what a lot of it fuels the narrative that you say that they are just predisposed for that. But what we find is that we put people of color, any nationality, any race, in any higher field that we would expect any Caucasian to do, male or female. And lo and behold, they just do it like a fucking, almost like they're human. Almost like there's no difference. aside from like a few features in the skin tone. It's almost like that. You know what I mean? It's almost like that doesn't all that lying about like advanced and superior. You mean better at one thing than another? Because that does seem to be a little bit true. Not universally, no, but stereotypically, it does seem to be a little true. Enough that you can make a stereotype and be offensive about it. Oh, you're probably good at math then. Good. We needed someone who's good with figures. You know what I mean? As soon as we see someone come in, thank God we needed someone who could run these calculations. I'm not even here for that, dude. I'm a graphic designer. What? Where's your accent? Oh, me so sorry. I forgot it at home. Should I go get it for you, sir? You know what I mean? Fucking dude, I'm here. I've been here. My parents have been here. Meanwhile, the African guy's going, yeah, we've been here. Don't tell me to go home. You brought me here. I'm here because of you. You're not your father's son. You're not your dad's kid. You're not your mom's kid. On and on and on. Oh, but I didn't do it. No, but you are reaping the benefits of it. And that's the point. You're reaping the benefits of it. Um, that's kind of what the whole thing of the argument about privilege. We need to have like talk about it, but I'll do that some other time when we're not talking about 90's, because that has to go back to like April 2nd, 1861. And to be honest, that it makes 100% sense. And I'll say this before we move on back to the 90's. In the Bible, God says he will visit his vengeance upon the people unto the seventh generation. Right? Seventh generation. They define a generation to be about 20 years. To be 140 years. If you add 140 to 1861, (2001) would have restarted it. Basically, look at who's coming along now. Just see what Gen Z would be considered. Gen Z. Come on now. Early 2000s. So what's the one that comes after them? Gen Alpha? So starting in 2000, that would be, no, that'd be, yeah, Gen Z would be. And look who's coming along. Gen Alpha is 2011, 2024. And notice they're more 90s ish, you know what I mean? But it's just, I don't know how they do their generations or whatever, but I mean, if you do one, like I said, every 20 years, it's 140 years. So 2001 would be whatever that generation would be. That would be Gen Z would be in there. This is a jubilation year. Debts are forgiven. And what's really great is that it doesn't matter what debt you have, your creditors here. It's to God's creditor that you got to worry about. You're going to pay him what you owe. And during the Jubilee, um, he's known for dropping. The charges. Pretty cool. Pretty generous. Gen Beta starting in 2025. That's crazy. Um, so in the 90's, I did a talent show in middle school. And the first year I sang, I really did very terribly. And I don't even know what got me, aside from the dreams that I'd had about performing. I really don't know what got me to get up there on stage other than I just feel I needed to do it. And so I did so badly. I mean, I didn't get booed or anything like that, but it just wasn't great. And so I went home and just worked and worked on the song and got that one down. Got accused of lip syncing. I was like, okay, good. I might actually be able to do this. Then Travis Lau approaches me about joining a band. I decided, yeah, I was like, fuck yeah, let's do this. So I joined a band with him and picker, mother friggin' picker. Come on, pick. I hate that shit. There we go. That's how you go out. There you are. So playing in a band with Travis, we're drinking a lot. I didn't know he smoked pot, but he did. He must have kept it kind of secret, but he was also tripping acid. I didn't know that either. Otherwise, I probably would have done it, but because I wanted to. I just didn't know where to get it. I didn't know anywhere to get it until I'm like close to my senior year. No, actually, it was my first year in college. I did find someone I could get it from my senior year, but I never did. I never could arrange it to get it together. But man, I wanted to. But then eventually in college, I did get it together, and some friends of mine helped me take a trip. He ain't been right since. It's so weird how like different drugs mark a before and after. You know, just how you saw things before, then how you see them after that. You don't necessarily change, but your perspective, your view gets wider. I didn't change my mind about stuff. It's just like instead of being like seeing like this, it wasn't like I had blinders on. It's just like I had I had a vision. I could see, and it just wasn't that big. And after smoking pot, it went like that. And after taking fucking acid, it goes like oh shit, there is a lot. What? Oh shit. Later in life, those hands are just gone. He's like, with the birds, I shared this lonely view. So go to college. I do about a year there. Do my time. I get out. Roofing houses with my dad, and yeah, hot summer work, man. We're in the Louisiana summer, roofing houses. Even in the early morning when we show up, it's already starting to get warm. And we take a break like right as the sun's the highest, because man, it's melting the tar. Your feet, or you can feel it like melting the rubber of your shoes. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy hot up there, just pouring sweat. You gotta work fast too. You can't be up there all day, otherwise they're like, man, dude, we don't want to be here all day. Don't be fucking love tapping, just bam, bam, bam. You need to go to the next fucking shingle. You don't need to be doing this. No. And then go to the next one, get the fuck out so we can do this, dude. So yeah. carrying shingles on your shoulder up the fucking ladder. Fucking crazy, man. Then I moved to Michigan because my brother invited me to come up to stay for a couple of weeks. And so my mom had separated from my dad. And my brother was already at college in Michigan. I was already in Michigan. I think he quit college, but he still was in Michigan. My sister went with my mom. I'm like, dude, if I pack up on this dude, he ain't gonna make it. He just ain't gonna make it. And so I stuck around, and I actually thought I got to know a different guy than I knew before he quit drinking. But this was like, I guess this too late. It was his wake up call to get sober. But he did seem like a different person for a long time. Trump proved it, well, the whole Republican Party and the Fox News propaganda machine proved to be too much for his brain. And I thought he was a very smart person, but he's not, apparently. Apparently the propaganda is smarter than he is. Completely dominated his critical thinking skills. But I've seen a lot of people fall to that cult, man, and go down there and attack the Capitol. So proud of it when they're doing it. Then when they get caught, they're like, "Wasn't me. I didn't do it. I'm a political prisoner. All I did was punch a cop in the face because he didn't do what I told him to do. I pay his salary. Oh, is he complaining? That's nothing compared to what they do to black people." Right, so what the fuck are you complaining about, asshole? Do your time and shut the fuck up. At least you earned what you're getting. I say in the situation, we need to put some checks on these fucking cops. I get they need to protect themselves. So I'm not saying like let them up and let them fucking whatever, but if you're on someone's back and he says, "I can't breathe," you need to like inform him, like, "I'm getting up. If you move, it's going to be very bad for you." But because you said you need to breathe, I'm going to let up some of the pressure. As you can feel, I'm already letting up. But if you try to move, man, it's going to be very bad. They'll take your nightstick and the little thing, the T section there, across the neck, and be like, I'm going to swap, all right? I'm going to hold this down there. That's not going to, yeah, I can tell by you have plenty of room and there's no weight on there. And that way I can stand on the stick and you can't get up. You can stand on one end, your foot on the other end, the one that's on the ground, same thing. He's trying to get up. He's not going nowhere, but there's no pressure on his fucking neck. Or her neck, or whoever's back. I get it. These cuffs are too tight. And as soon as you try to loosen them up, they fucking, scoot. No, don't. You gotta have like cuffs that can go the other direction without giving up. Like you can turn the key the other direction and it lets you go like one click at a time. And then you gotta turn the key again and unloose it, and it pulls the thing up. It lets you go back one. Why am I thinking of this shit, man? You guys are the law enforcement officers that are clamping it too tight. Like it's too tight. And they're like, 1 second. We're gonna loosen it one click and that's all you get. If you act up at all, I will clamp it down too. Do you understand? Yeah, just listen up, man. Don't tell me what the fuck to do. I'm gonna listen up. I don't have to. I'm gonna listen it up because, like you say, use your hands. If you try and fuck me on this, dude, you're gonna be so screwed. I've got a camera on you, and that you just said you're not gonna do it. There can be rules of engagement we need to have rules of engagement between the cops and the people. It's clear what can be done and what cannot be done. Even if we have to write some new rules so these sovereign citizens shut the fuck up, they're taking it too far. These watch the cops guys, they're taking it too far by causing distractions that don't need to be bothered. I get policing the police. I get it. You're auditing the fucking cops. Walking down the street, whatever. But if you're purposely going by somewhere that's going to cause, they're going to call. That's entrapment, right? That's what you'd call it. They did to you. You'd say it's entrapment. They come out to do their job, and here's this person that's clearly disrespectful, unappreciative of the work that you actually do to keep that person alive. Because they actually do things to help keep people alive. They can't really do them when they're answering fake calls about, some guy is trying to prove that he has corrupt cops in his area, his press credentials. They could just know they could. But you could know every single fucking thing about your job, but you don't. But wouldn't you be better at it if you did? If you're an architect, if you knew every single thing there is to know about architecture and architects relating stuff, wouldn't you be a better architect? Chances are you studied some of the great architects and you've chosen like Frank Lloyd Wright or somebody else that you really resonate with, and therefore when you start designing your own stuff, there's a little bit of tribute to that because you do like his simplicity or the whatever it is to it. Stylistic of it. You like it enough to conclude whoever it is in your stuff. Just a pinch. It's still you, but that's kind of like when I play my music. There's a pinch of 90's in it. Probably more than a pinch. Probably a good 2-3 tablespoons. But so in Michigan, tried to start a band. I just really couldn't get anything going. And then my brother had a band and they didn't have a drummer. So I auditioned. I was not a good drummer. I expected to hear no, but it was just fun to play with the band again for a little bit. And they said, yeah. And so I had to actually get better drums. I wasn't really great, but I had to get better. And I never really had like a long time to just sit and play drums like that. And I must say, I auditioned for the band on someone else's kit. So when I got the gig, I had to buy a kit. I had to get a kit because I didn't have one. And I got a Mapex kit. It was really good. Made by Pearl. I love Pearl kits. But so they weren't a big name back then at all. But eventually I lost my job, my driver's license, and my place to live all in like the same 2-3 days. So it was to go back to Shreveport or stick around in Michigan, try and get my shit together. Hope to get it together. And it just wasn't coming together. On top of that, my dad sent me like $50 and my information I would need to get a new license, get a new ID, so I can get a job. You can't get a job without an ID, so I needed to get my stuff set up. My old roommates apparently went through the thing through my dad. I guess when the letter showed up, they went through it and took the money out and burned everything else inside there. I'm like, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. You're mad because you subletted out the basement to me and you didn't have that authorization. You didn't tell me this. Otherwise, when the guy comes down there trying to show off the place, if he asked if I lived down there, I would have said, no, I'm a friend. They had a party last night and I ended up staying down here. Probably would have gone differently. But it was right about that time that, of course, they're like, "You gotta get the hell out." I'm like, why? Why suddenly do I have to get the hell out? Oh, because the landlord came over and saw that, and he's like, "Are you living down here?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You pay rent?" I'm like, "Oh fuck." I'm like, "Yeah, I do." He probably went right upstairs and like, "What the fuck? Who said you could rent out the basement?" So now it's not their problem. You know, they probably were trying to do that on the sly, cut their bed, they cut their rent down. Now I'm the problem. I gotta get the fuck out of the place. Oh well. Um. So. Um. Tampering with mail, not a good thing. That's okay. That's okay. Um. Then in the from '98 or so, I moved back to Shitpot, Louisiana, and fumbled between several different jobs, doing different things. Still doing lots of drugs and stuff, and trying to get a job that's steady enough that I could get out on my own. You know, because I had to come back and stay with my mom. I had been staying with my dad and got out of there and went and stayed with my brother for like a year and a half, and then lost my job and all that shit. So. Um, Lost a job because they had at the end of the night, they'd throw away all this food. I mean, ridiculous amounts of food, like 2, 3 buckets of like 20-piece chickens, 3 or 4 roasted chickens, whole chickens. And it goes into a trash can that's got a compactor so that the homeless people can't get in there and get it. And it's fenced around the compactor. So it's, I mean, they really isolate their trash away from people being able to get to it. And so um, they're like a rack of ribs. And at the end of the night, to try and get rid of it, they told me to just go ahead and slash it down to like, you know, a rack of ribs. Blah, 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 blah. A rack of ribs would be like 50 cents. That whole chicken would be like 25 cents. A bucket of 20 pieces of chicken would be like, again, 50 cents. And at first, when I wasn't closing, I was getting back there. You know, I was paying for it. I was paying off the whatever. When the manager bailed and left me in charge after like the first like 2 weeks without any real training, still played by the rules, but they got marked down a little bit lower. You know, 5 cents, 10 cents, and I was still paying it off. And at that point, I'm like, why even bother doing that? But new dude, I was training him. I guess he wanted my job as the closer because as I didn't figure he would be cool. So I grabbed the bag. He's like, "You want to bring it up here?" I'm like, "No, I'm just cool. I'm gonna go get that at the front desk on the way out the door." And I did have to get some stuff, so I went ahead and ran that through there. And they're like, "Can you get that?" I'm like, "No, I got it back there in the thing." And they're like, "Oh, okay, cool." And I guess he went forward to ask if did he pay up there? No, he said pay back there. He didn't pay back here because the next day I come in, I'm getting it was a total of 25 cents. Was the total of the amount I owed that I took of trash. They were throwing it away. At the end of the night, they're just throwing it in the trash. I was giving most of it away. It was too much for me to have, man. There's just way too much food for me to have. I was giving like buckets of chicken and fucking sandwiches and fucking racks of ribs and shit. I was feeding my brother. I was feeding the band. I mean, fuck, I brought a bunch of shit, dude. Not all the time. But when I would do, I'd get, you know, 2 and 3 sheet cakes. You know what I mean? Like a whole half sheet. Whole thing. They had the decoration stuff so I could decorate them how I wanted to there. I actually had pretty good penmanship. I didn't know it until I was closing. And one lady's like, "Hey, can you decorate cakes?" I'm like, "No, I've never done that." She's like, you know, and she asked to see like if I could draw, if I could handwriting. So I did my handwriting. She's like, "Yeah, you could do this." I'm like, "I've never done this before." And she's like, "You can do it." I'm like, as long as you don't expect any results, then I'll give it a try. What do you want to say? And I just need to say happy birthday, whoever. I'm like, okay. So I put it on there. She's like, yeah, see, you do this perfectly. It's fine. And I'm like, there was a piece that I had to like take off because I was nervous as hell. I think I might have spelled happy with one P. So I took the Y and just made it into another P, but I had to like pick some of the frosting. You know what I mean? It was just weird little shit like that. And yeah, it looks great, man. You're a liar, man. Blah, 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 blah. And the person was actually kind of pissed. You just didn't want to work. And I was like, yeah, no. I said, like, no, I've never decorated a cake before in my life. That's not, I wasn't trying. If I'd done it, I would just said, sure, what do you want on there? This is your first time. I'm like, I've never, ever done that before in my life. But, left that job because that's how I lost my job. I lost my job there because of that fucking stealing. There's no other way to call it. That stealing instance I stole. So I stole those ribs and stuff they were gonna throw away. I stole their trash, and so yeah. And then I went to go get a carton of cigarettes 'cause I just got my check, and I had cashed it. And I went to go get my carton of cigarettes, and wallet was gone. When we got there, the wallet was bare because there was no wallet there. It was gone. I had no idea. I had my ID, had my driver's license, I mean, had all my shit, my social security, had everything in there, and I'm thinking this is a sign I got to go back to shit pot, but I don't want to go back to shit pot, Louisiana. But let me pack my shit and get down there because apparently that's where I got to go, and so I did it. Um, Originally I hadn't planned on staying. They say if you're looking for God, go to the desert. So that's what I decided I was going to do. I was going to go to the desert. I was going to find him one way or another. You know, just pull like halfway through the desert. I know there's sand and everything on the other side. Ding. What the fuck? You want? Yeah, I want to get off here. Hang on, I just want to get off here. You're gonna die, possibly. Hope that's what happens. You better hope that's what happens. But it makes sense to go to the desert because nothing else could live there. Not the deep desert. You know what I mean? But it's so weird to see how people don't see what's actually going on. It's like I saw a picture today. It was like this very, very nice, sleepy town. It was clearly like this nice little valley. Could have been like it was somewhere in Europe. Very nice European architecture, maybe Spain, maybe Germany. I'm not really sure, but beautiful, very picturesque. And then a little bit off in the distance, you see like a really big. 'Cause the city was huge. It was really big, and then the lake it was based off of was pretty big too. But as you look at the surrounding area, you realize that that lake that's there is the remnants of a giant body of water that, if it was in there, would be drowning the city. Almost like if like the ice caps melted and all that water had somewhere to go. I've been thinking that since I was like younger, and they started talking about the polar ice caps melting. I'm like, why don't we use like states like California, make a canal that goes from the coast into like the desert, It doesn't have to be the biggest. It doesn't have to be like whatever, but it needs to be deep. And it needs to have like a gate that you can just, when it starts going, yeah, when it goes over that thing, it just spillways into that and rolls downhill because, the Death Valley is below sea level. So it just rolls out there to the fucking desert and pours out into the water. If that worst comes to worst, you might bring the desert back to life. Think of all that area now with fucking vegetation and shit. Oh, we're gonna interrupt the habitat. Yeah, but I mean, we're also gonna interrupt the habitat. We always do. What else? Why are you getting precious about it now, Precious? Huh? Why weren't you precious about it when we were strip mining the fucking mountains for all the goddamn gold and iron and anything else that was inside of them? They're still doing that. That's damaging. That's going to be damaging to the people. This was a project that would help the people survive the incoming water that's supposed to be rising. It's just basically like a spigot to let it go into the desert where it'll either absorb into the water, or I mean, into the sand, or it will supersaturate the sand and become an ocean again, like it probably was before. At least a sea or some sort. You know what I mean? It's a huge body of water. And then all of it just silted dead without rain to replenish it. It just absorbed into the groundwater and distributed into the water. They're saying that there's water beneath the surface of the earth. There may be oceans beneath the crust that have more water than the actual oceans above the crust. But people laugh when they talk about when the waters below the waters came rising up in Noah's day. Um, the way I got to Michigan, I know I jump around. I don't care. No one's watching. I don't believe, anyways. I just talk to myself sometimes. This it's actually helped me a lot because I think I talk too much in public situations, and this way I get a lot of it out, and that way, whether anybody watches it or not, you know, I got stuff to talk about, but I don't feel the need to talk about it because, yeah, I don't need a therapist. This is fine. This works for me. I don't know if anybody's watching, if anyone cares. Peace to whoever is watching it there, if you're watching. Hopefully, this show's been enjoyable. But the 90s was like a perfect cross section. Like I said, there was a golden age of comedy, which followed a horrible age of politics, didn't it? Almost every comedian, they probably labeled liberal comedians now. They're just comedians, but everybody was in the audience. Everyone was laughing. Black comic, white comic, whatever. They were laughing because the shit was being said was true. Just like now, stuff that Steve Hofstetter says is true. And people say, stick to comedy. Well, fuckface, one of the reasons why you have the ability to go online and say fuckface is because Lenny Bruce was arrested for obscene language. The 7 dirty words, they really wanted to get George Carlin. Because they're fine with you having rights as long as you don't try to exercise them. Because if you exercise them, you might be good at it. And if you're good at it, you might do it frequently. Like protesting. If you're used to protesting bad maneuvers by the government, no matter who's doing it, Republican or Democrat, because you have an actual conscience and like, look, I don't care who's up there and who's whatever, they work for all of us. We're all Americans, and we all can agree that XYZ is not correct, right? Well, if you agree that XYZ is not correct, no matter what side you sit on, Sign this petition so we can start moving things forward. Don't do that. The fossil fuel companies will only tell you all the good they do. They won't tell you the bad they do. Their detractors will only tell you the bad they do. They won't tell you the good that they do. They might tell you like one or two things. So that again, you've got to, in the mind of the watcher, convince them that your side is correct. So if fracking is bad in your mind, you've got to give them enough reason. There's got to be like, it's not all bad. They do get this going. It gets like this, but when you compare it to the damage to people, look what happens. Not even close. The problem is sometimes that answer will be like, and you put a little bit on this, and then, oh, look, the negatives outweigh it, but then you put it on the positive side, and look, not even close. You're losing out. Look at it, you're clearly losing out. Look, there's clearly more in this hand. Clearly. You're losing out. It's not like it's like fucking this shit, you know what I mean? It's not like this fucking shit. It's not, you know? It's like that. It's a little lopsided, but the benefits, even if the benefits are less, what benefits you get. It's kind of like the 80-20 rule with relationships. You can get 80% of your needs met from this one person, but if those 20% are very critical, you're going to step out on that relationship or you're going to terminate it. You terminate fucking 80% for 20? Yeah, it's there's two things that'll happen. Either one person will try and fill that extra 20 from someone else that they're not getting that 20 from their partner, rather than sitting there going, you know, why maybe I'm not filling out their 100, you know? Let me at least try. And if I do that and they still don't fill out my 100, then we're going to have to talk about some stuff and just at least have a conversation. And that's the mean about communication. You can't just be talking, you have to be exchanging information. Here's a good sign of someone you should be in. If you go to communicate with them and that's a problem, get out. You just want to talk. And you get the eye rolls, the here we go again. Get out. They don't care. They don't. How many times has one of your person that you cared about said, hey, we need to talk, and you go, what is it now? Your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, the love of your life. Imagine looking back and seeing the love of your life in your life, and when they asked for one thing, you went, what? That's like one of your memories. I'm like, hey, babe, what's up? We gotta talk. Okay. I'm guessing it's not that great. It's not great, but it's not bad. Okay. Just 20%. Oh, I didn't even know you. I've been waiting to do that. I just didn't know you. I didn't think you want. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. I know it's that important to you. But now you're communicating. It's only 20%, but it's like the most important 20%. Okay, well then you're gonna, if that's the way it is, you're gonna have to find somebody else, because that's not me at all. Okay, so we can be mature about this. Yeah. You don't have to bash me online. I don't bash you online. There's no crime in the fact that we don't work out and we're not going to be together. There's no crime there. Neither one of us did anything wrong yet. Not at this point. Just incompatible. Good to nip it here than after a marriage, right? When there's kids involved, it's good to nip it here. Being friends, I don't know. We'll see how it goes being separated and whatever, but I do know I have to go away. I have to get out of here. You know, some time apart, it's not going to work being friends either. So just, I mean, main thing is just the best thing and the best advice I could ever give is be honest. And that got me pretty badly in the 90s because it seemed like I said with the explosion of the music going everywhere, I thought even like the people that didn't get it had woken up then opened their eyes and started to get it. And then as the major and the good musicians of the 90s started giving way to the lesser bands of the 90s, um, it became much more of an institution. Whereas the people at the forefront seemed much more spontaneous and actually them. The way that the movement of the glam rock movement, those original people seemed like that was actually them who they did because they came out. There were no other people to fucking lead the way of guys coming out with fucking teased hair and makeup. Not really. There wasn't a whole lot, and so they had to do that shit. And they got there, and like of course, I'm sure a bunch of dudes called them a bunch of names, and I bet you they gleefully dude's girlfriend, maybe together. Right? I'm not saying I'm saying I'm sure it's happened more than once. I'm sure. Um, so I'm fairly self-taught until around 93, 94. I took a month of lessons with Robert Owen, and I go to college, and they didn't even have a guitar teacher there. Sorry if my eyes are drifting. I've been eating a lot of edibles today, so I'm pretty fucked up. Um, it's pretty great. I might have to go get some more here for a little bit. But what time is it? Should be kicking in pretty good. Yeah, that's good and kicked in now. That's what's happening. That's what's up, as they say. Um, yeah, the thing about edibles is it keeps going up. It's just, so it kicked about 7, and it's like it's starting to peak off. So, um, teaching myself how to play, learn from Robert. The seminary had no guitar teacher. They didn't even have a guitar. So they went and got a guitar, a classical guitar, and they had me come in to try it out to see if it was worth the $60 I paid for it. I'm like, you guys are like one of the top. I was a bit disappointed because they're one of the top schools in the country, top music schools, and they went with like a $60 classical. If nothing else, send me along before the purchase. I get you're gonna send the other person, and like, hey, try this. Honestly, as a beginner or whatever, I would not recommend this one. This one's a little too cheap. This one's $100. This one, yeah. This one, I would recommend this one. Okay, let's go ahead and get that one. But the cool thing is, I was able to check it out like a book. They had lots of instruments in their arsenal that you could check out. And so, since there was no other guitar students, I think just lived in my fucking dorm, man. It was awesome. Um, yeah. So I took about a semester of lessons because they didn't get a teacher for me until second semester, which means I didn't have to do any of the recitals. And then eventually, when I came around for my second semester, I never did a recital. They didn't even schedule me. I don't know what was going on. Maybe because I came in so late. I'm not sure. But no, I never had to do a recital. I wrote my own song in case I had to do one. That sounded classical. Um, so, yeah, man, it's just it's so strange how the cycles go. Because I imagine, and it seems that we're having one now. Nathan McIntosh, Josh Johnson, um, several other comedians are just fucking hilarious, and they kind of have like a new style because now the '80s were kind of about being offensive. That was kind of the point. I get that kids don't get that nowadays because you're looking back going, oh my God. But the point of it was to tell those fucking PC people that were trying to tell you what you could and could not say to fuck right off. You're not supposed to say it? Well, I'm going to say it. Why do we have a freedom of speech if I'm not supposed to say it? Oh God, that's horrible. Right, but I have the freedom to say it, and they'll watch them try and stop me. And I'll take them to fucking court. I don't give a shit. No one has that kind of fucking balls now. They're too afraid of fucking pissing someone off. They might lose some subscriptions. They might, lose some likes. A bunch of rebels with no fucking cause. The fucked up thing is, like, the 90s beckoned out a fucking cause if you were listening to the music. But as I said, even though I'd go places and I'd find Alice in Chains playing on the fucking radio, they didn't actually have the album. And so you're like, hey man, you like Alice in Chains? And I'm like, oh man, I fucking love Alice in Chains. Like, what's your favorite song? You're like, oh, I really love Rooster, Man in the Box, Heaven Beside You. What's that one? I think it's Sludge Factory. So all the singles that are on MTV. Yeah. You haven't bought the albums? No. Have you bought the singles? No. So you don't like Alice in Chains. You enjoy the music you've heard of Alice in Chains. See how there's a difference. Without nuance. You know what I mean. Right, but why do I always have to extract what the fuck you mean? Why can't people just say what the fuck they mean? Why is it always a matter of, like, you know what I mean? When Donald Trump speaks, why does he always have to have a fucking interpreter going, no, that's not what he meant? Why are you guys making up what he meant? Especially when he's more than one time burned you. You guys go out there in all defense of your little God King, the little orange Hitler, who is about to make a very bad mistake if he actually goes forward with those tariffs. They've been waiting on it, so they probably have a response team waiting Canada was talking about setting up a war room to handle anything that he throws. You throw 25%, we throw a 30 on you. You raise it to 50, we raise it to 75 on you. You're not going to win this. You're going to back down first. Because the people are going to get upset, Donald. Oh, they're going to get mad. They have no interest in your dick measuring contest to prove how badass you are. They have no interest in it. Only person interested in that, Donald, is you. The only person who gives a fuck about that is you. These motherfuckers didn't give Biden a chance to get off the stage and kind of give an answer as to why 80 years old, President of the United States, born with a stutter, has controlled it most of his life, but as he gets older, he's probably losing the ability to control it. And that can manifest in the way that we talk. And that can be just straight up foggy brain. He did. He got to it. You know what I mean? That's the point. He just did get to it, and like, we can't. You can't trust that guy with the what? He's had the nuclear codes all this time. Nothing's happened. Well, we didn't know how bad it was. You mean with Kamala Harris there watching with fucking a system in place in case he does happen to go too far? Like he would be the ever be the first president to like kind of advocate the is that the right abdicate? I don't know. There's one of those, the job to another person who was not elected to do the job. Because it would be a whole first, wouldn't it? Like say if a guy had a stroke and they just decided to not announce it. I thought the 90's, all the people were moving towards what I was hearing from the radio. Because I mistakenly thought people listened to music the way that I do. I listen very closely, I listen very intently, especially to things that rhyme. If you want me to remember something, rhyme it. I'll remember it. First Marine jumped over the wall. Other than that one, I was like 7. Same with the man from Nantucket. Other limericks too. You want me to remember something? Make it rhyme. I'll remember that shit for all day. This right here, the fake teeth right there, the ones that are replaced. He was telling me it was a while back that he'd given to me, basically he's telling me like don't eat with them. And when you take them out of your face, if they're not in the face, when you take them out of your mouth, if it's not in the face, it goes in the case. Easy enough to remember. Not in the face, goes in the case. And aside from a few times where I didn't have my case, I haven't messed up that at all. And when I do, if like I'm eating, I just pop it out real quick at the table or whatever, and just like kind of hold it in my palm. I never put it like in a napkin or in anything else that can get taken, thrown away. I hold it in my hand so that way it does not get lost. I don't like squeeze tight on anything like that, but it's resting in my hand, which I have cleaned. I took it out. It's not like I'm just, yeah, cause it's not grimy or nasty. So, yeah. And then after I eat like whatever, like, burrito, whatever it is, and just pop it back in there and get my teeth back. Good going out teeth are back. But hey, it feels kind of like it's mellowing out, or maybe I'm just getting used to it. I don't know, one of the two. But I pop my back and something definitely, I love when I pop my back and start feeling like sensation going to my feet and stuff, because it means the nerves are fucking finally opening up. That's so great. It might increase the circulation to my feet and stuff, because I used to have pretty cold feet. But I'm always wearing socks, so they don't get cold. But if I'm not wearing socks, they get cold, and then my whole body gets cold because the blood goes down there and hits my cold ass feet and comes up. I blame it on, again, the 90's. I was dating a girl that kind of shit on my heart, and I really hadn't dealt with the snow. And I was barefoot over at her house, and I just went walking. Barefoot, and just walked out and walked around the block, and like halfway around, my feet were nubs, dude. They were just frozen solid. I mean, I could not feel them at all. But here's the problem. I'm halfway around the block. Even if I turn around and go, there's no shorter way home. There is no shorter way back to not even my home, but to her fucking place. So I walked back, and she's like, "Where'd you go?" I was like, "I went fucking walking with no shoes." What the fuck do you care? Seriously, what the fuck do you care? I'm just gonna go in here and sit and wait till I get my ride to get the fuck out of here. But yeah, man. We're having a house party, and we're playing the band that I was in playing drums for, and this friend. Um, at the time, he looked like the singer from 311, like a lot like him. He had like the blonde hair and everything, and we had a mutual friend to my ex, and it was interesting because I was sitting there talking. I wasn't talking like bad about her, you know what I mean? But I wasn't talking nice about her. And it's like, hey man, that's my friend. I'm like, well, you tell your friend she's a fucking cunt because she fucking, you know. And I go through the list of shit. He's like, oh, like yeah, yeah. So I'm sorry, but your friend can kiss my fucking ass. He was hanging out with us way more after that point. He was always hanging out. But we did have to go over there one time. I can't remember because, I mean, it was still like there was a house full of people and we knew people over there. So we had to go over there from time to time. And we were hanging out. And there was one of the roommates that lived there. It was a very much a Grateful Dead fan. All the time. I mean, you know, you picture the Grateful Dead guy. There you go. That was him. The curly, long hair, everything. Tie-dye shirts and all that shit. He was cool. He was a cool guy. But he had like this big pill on this shelf. And I almost said his name or something, going like, what is that? And he's like, MDMA. The real thing? Like, yeah, the real shit. I'm like, oh, and he's like showing us like the way you can tell the real from the fake. I'm just like, oh, I've never done that. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, dude, you don't want to get rid of that. And he's like, no, I'm saving that for a special occasion. That was like about the last time I went over there because I realized I don't really have any reason to go over there. So my friend goes over there anyways to hang out, from time to time. I don't care, you know. But we had this house party and he's supposed to show up. And so we were down there practicing, warming up for the gig. And so I was down there just banging on the drums and stuff, getting ready to play. The house party is about to kick off in maybe like 45 minutes to an hour. The gig is going to start up. And like I was playing my drums, I happened to look up and he's just standing at the foot of my, like right in front of my kick drum. And he's just grinning, kind of like whatever. And then he's got his hand out. And it's like half of that pill. I'm like, oh, ho, ho. He's like, do it, dude. I'm like, oh, dude, no, I got to play. He's like, do it. Dude, I got to play. I don't know what's going to do. He said, you're going to be fine. And there's just something about the calmness in his face. I was like, I got to do this. I got it. Man, I got to tell you, I've never played drums with that much passion. Like I knew every lick. I knew where everything was. Oh, man, I played with such fluidity that night. At least it felt like it. We got good applause and stuff. And man, that was an incredible night. But yeah, it wasn't like super. It was like microdosing ecstasy, if you will. You just have like this extra little, hey, kind of a positive, shiny outlook on life. It was pretty great. I haven't done since. So I get back down to Shitpot, Louisiana, and my mom talked me out of going to the desert, and so I start getting my shit together. I get my own place. I get a car and stuff. I got a job, and I'm out of my own. This little small apartment. It's more like those motor lodges that have like the 5 in a strip, and they're each their own little fucking cabin, almost like the Terminator had. And each one of those little cabins would have like a kitchen, and had like a living room, then a bedroom, and then a bathroom. Not really for living. It's more for like staying the night or like a week or so. It's not really for living for an extended period. Well, the guy was renting those out for like $250, and I was on the far end, way away from everybody else, away from the main building that had actual regular apartments where I thought I was going to be at. But he put me at this place right there, and man, it was dope because, like I said, I was just where I could get as loud as I wanted to. The nearest neighbors were about two that way. The next one to me was storage, and then there was another place that was empty, and then the neighbors were down there. And then there was space between mine and the building, and you had to go through the building and get upstairs. And the people said they could sometimes hear it, but it wasn't too bad. And that was usually during the day. At night, I always wore my headphones like I'm doing now, and you couldn't hear nothing because it was all basically virtual. Of course, if I sang, there's nothing I can virtualize about my voice. But man, I started working on a 8-track tape deck, a Yamaha MT8X. It just took regular tape, those old tapes. It didn't have like the big reel-to-reel type thing. It was just a regular tape cassette tape. But I did buy the most expensive tapes you could get for it because in that kind of situation, that actually does matter. The quality does actually matter there. And so I would get the, stacks and stacks of blank tapes. And just fill them up with songs. Just recording as I go. I get drunk and high every night. And I would just hit record. And I started playing. And I'd work on a song and I'd finish it up. But by the next morning, I don't remember what at all I've played. So I wake up, I'm like halfway, I'm waking up in my chair because I'd passed out in my chair, and the fucking cigarette starts burning my fingers, so I put it out. I go to bed, wake up the next day and hit play before I go to work to see what the fuck I recorded. And the guitars come in roaring in nice, the drums and the bass are all sounding pretty good. And I'm like, this is a pretty good song. And all of a sudden the vocals come in. Like, oh God, and just hit mute and okay, that's where we'll start tonight. That's right where we'll start. Before we get fucked up tonight, as we're getting fucked up, we'll lay the vocals for this again. And then we'll do the whole cycle again. We'll just keep doing this and doing this and doing this. And that's what I did. Eventually I got into my friend's studio, home studio. We recorded there, and I recorded my first studio album there. And my second studio album, I actually had that, not mixed, I had it mastered there. And, yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, that was a very weird time for me because of, shit that's going on up here and, and reality and other stuff. I mean, there's always stuff going on in my head. Machinations, fucking. My mom's an architect, my dad's an engineer. So she draws the outsides and shit, and he would work on, the electrical wiring and schematic. So I have, my brain is kind of, I won't say I inherited, but my brain's kind of dispositioned for that. And I didn't really get that. Those are the genes that I had to pull from when my body was picking a brain to choose, or, what pieces to choose. My dad's, eyes color, my mom's nose. Through the different family trees and picking out the different stuff to, to build me. Out of all the possibilities of all the DNA, like I said, I like those eyes for some reason. I grabbed those eyes and in the DNA sequence, and then just mix things up. Let's grab these, and yeah, here I am. So it's kind of hard not to talk about current events because we've had 3 planes fall out of the sky. A collision, a plane and helicopter collision. Today, another, like a medevac plane just fell out of the sky. Elon Musk's rocket blew up. And that pilot flying the F-13, F-13, F-35, something like that, he had to eject. He lived, but the plane just crashed in the ground. It goes along with Bible prophecy, praying that your flight be not in winter. Well, it's currently winter. And there needs to be some truth being told. There is a way to peace. Without conflict, without war. It's called taking accountability. We need to call a world summit. Ow. We need to lay out our grievances with each other and any supporting evidence that goes along with it. And just get the fuck over it. Start leaving each other alone. Start making things like where we're so big on the human rights violations and stuff, right? Putin just doesn't want them there, which means they're enemy to fucking Russia. Well, instead of executing him, like, dude, you want to do that shit? Go talk shit to the fucking, and your main complaint is that you don't have any freedom, right? Yeah. Go to fucking America. And we may have some people over here that are like, you know what, I'd rather be Russian than Democrat. Okay. We'll pay for your flight. And they'll take you in. They'll even teach you Russian when you get there. We've got a deal worked out with them. I'd rather be in China. We should have like an exchange program. So that way, think about it. Do you think how many like basketball players would love to go to like Spain and become? We have that is an option because Donald Trump tanked the American Football League, which again could have sparked the American Basketball League, but it was such a failure that why would they do that with the American Soccer League and all those other things? So you can't make it with the fucking national pro. You can still go pro as in you're getting paid for it. You just may not be in like the highest league. If I asked a football player, like, look, dude, you're never going to make it in the NFL, but you'll be one of the highest paid athletes in Spain, or whatever, another place. People probably, you have the T-shirt deals and you have all that stuff. They really like this. I mean, they don't just like the NFL. They just like the game. So therefore, and just still get paid. You'll be getting paid about like $90,000 a year. But $90,000 a year over there is about $180,000 here. Yeah. And where people go, oh, he's no, LeBron. He's no, whatever the sports you're comparing to. I mean, I know he's a basketball player and I don't say football, but I'm just saying whatever sport you're playing in another thing, you'll kind of be them to those people. Are they American? No. Do they think you're one of the best basketball players they've ever seen? Yeah. Just like we get Yao Ming, we get, what's that guy? Not Mfume. Something. Kareem Olajuwon. There were several people that were some guys that are directly from Africa. But they're playing over here. Could some of our African American players go to Africa and play their basketball and compete? Wouldn't it be interesting to find out? It's another path, another career path. But that means stepping out of your comfort zone and going somewhere you don't know. And that requires dreaming a little bit. And that's just something a lot of people won't do or feel a fear of failure. You'd rather fail here where it's known that is more difficult. So when you fail, you can say, well, they weren't going to let me in anyways. But when you fail surrounded by people that look exactly like you around you, you just can't blame that failure on the system. You were doubly set up to win. You had almost the talent to win in America, pardon me, and you got a chance to go to another country and play professionally. Again, not for the huge amounts, but you got to play professionally. Yeah, I just think it's a pretty good deal, man. I think it'd be a pretty good deal. I think also in America, we should bring back some of those smaller leagues. And no, Donald Trump, you don't want them to compete with the NFL. That's the dumbest thing you could ever do. Only Donald Trump would be that stupid. The point of the American Football League was not to compete with the NFL, but to give the home people at home more football throughout the year to watch. And to give these incredible athletes that don't quite make the super upper, top, they're still great players. There's no reason for them not to play. They were top in their schools. There's no reason for them to ride a bench for 5 years, becoming less and less effective, no matter how much they train. You got to admit, if you're in the field every day playing 5 as opposed to sitting on the bench watching and just going through the practice, being under the pressure of actually having to play. When you're in practice mode. There's no real pressure. You have to overcome that. You have to beat that and say, look, dude, that's not going to be the reason why I fail. That will not be the reason why. If I fail, I'm going to fail, but it's not going to be because of the fucking pressure, not because the people are watching, not because I got nervous. That is not going to be why I failed. I didn't connect the throw. I didn't grab the high. Whatever it is, I'm not going to fucking. But what happens when you get your first chance to get out there? You pretty much fuck up because, you finally get your big chance. Here's your big chance. And you fumble. Or you rise to the occasion, but I mean, we see that a lot. And they go, oh, let's see why he's riding the bench. Man, maybe if you've been using him for the last 2-3 years, you might have actually gotten a more professional version of him. Or that's a typical rookie mistake. It sucks. He's been on the team for 3 years. What a rookie mistake. Well, technically, he is a rookie. He's never been on the field during pressure time, during crunch time. So the reason why I think that coming around again, the Gilded Age of comedy is followed by Gilded Age of music is because of the fact that these comedians are laying out truths, bitter, harsh, ugly truths, but putting in a spin that makes it entertaining. So you can stay like the Daily Show. You can stay informed and still laugh because you watch the regular news and it does not inspire any kind of laughter. It inspires tears. How could anybody be this fucking dumb? The whole human race. What are we doing? What are we doing? Holding on to grudges from I can understand some countries upset because I don't understand America's upset because America screwed over everybody. Everybody. If you had dealings with America, you got screwed. Just ask Trump. If it doesn't go his way, it was a bad deal. If it doesn't go his way there's many ways for a deal to be good for you. Sure, you kind of get screwed on this one little thing, but your ally is now tight. Your alliance is really tight. Small price to pay. The more you pay them, the better they can cover their share of protecting the northern, you know what I mean, that whole area. And they have a vested interest in keeping you alive. Mexico, same way. Just south of us. Way more in common. On top of that, they're willing to do the horrible, horrible shit work we don't want to do for a price that they were going to pay for one of us to do it because they can't charge any less. And then here comes a legal immigrant willing to do it for less. And like, oh, taking our jobs. Your jobs selling oranges underneath the bridge. Did you really want that job? Picking fruit. Were you dying for that job at $2.50 an hour? You just couldn't wait to get that job, could you? The only people that should be able to come here and steal the land and shit out babies and become anchor babies are good, honest white folk, right? Who come from Europe, one of the good countries, not one of these shithole countries like America before the white people took over. It was a shithole. You know, there was no concrete anywhere. No buildings. No skyscrapers with Donald Trump's name on it. It was a shithole. The water was all clean. No one was polluting the water. They didn't even know disease, which means they didn't have medical debt. What fucking savages. They didn't even have a sense of ownership or a system of money. How are we going to stiff them on the deal? You know, it lets us no choice but to give them baskets of beads in exchange for Manhattan, signed on a contract they couldn't read. You sure you're the good guys in this story? Because at its very onset, you're coming off very bad guy vibes. All you need is a big scar on your face and a fucked up name. Oh, we did a lot of good. Oh, you're one of those villains. The ends just the Thanos type. The ends justify the means. You know, if we hadn't been here, then World War II wouldn't have ever got stopped. So it's kind of necessary. You know, it would have never got started because no one would have been sitting there thinking about doing what America had done. Just take. In the 90s, they were talking about fucking global warming. They were talking about it back then. People scoffed and laughed. What's a few degrees? That doesn't sound too bad. As they throw their trash out the window and like, oh, fuck that. It's all bullshit. This planet's too big for me to harm. Sure. One at a time. But if every ant in your backyard took an ant-sized shit every day, after about 300 days, I think you'd notice something strange is afoot. Hispanic people, again, if you're so cold and heartless. But if you're going to do that, what you could easily do is set up a sanctuary city with Mexico's help inside the Mexican border, closer to America, has a Mexican and American joint democratic rule, refugee rule type thing. there could be a English speaking part of it for English speaking immigrants. If you're really just looking for sanctuary, this is a whole fucking city designed for that, just for that. And they need maids, they need cleaning staff, they need a mayor, they need all the. It's a city. It's a city. Housing's a bit cheaper because there's not really any private housing. There's mostly just rented housing, like apartments and stuff. But the thing about it is there's a lot of manufacturing jobs there. So people don't have to sit there and go, it can still be made in America. Nothing else made in North America. You see what I'm saying? How quickly that changes? And people know with a wink and a nod there was American in Mexico and possibly Canadian working together. American design, Mexican labor, and, whatever. And, whatever, Canadian fucking healthcare. I don't fucking know. I don't know, man. Canadian niceties. So no one gets treated like shit like they do or they are here. On top of that, if everybody there was like a refugee, a asylum seeker, and or a immigrant trying to come from another country that's, just didn't like their country. Wait, you mean I can get the same kind of job I was going to get over there and I don't have to go through any tunnels or get arrested or deported. And everyone here speaks Spanish without looking down at me. And I'm inside Mexico. So if I need to get to like the Mexican consulate, like if the Americans start fucking with me, there's a Mexican consulate right there in the city. Yes, the outside is surrounded, but that makes it, we're just as safe inside as we are outside. It protects anything from outside getting in, and it protects us from like doing anything bad and taking that outside. But in a way that makes it understood, you're not a prisoner. The gates are open. You're free to go. There's cars coming and going and stuff. But if you are illegal, don't go that way. I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying it's a solution that I believe even Southerners would get behind. They probably would get so mad that it was a brand new city. Why don't we get a brand new city? Well, motherfuckers, one, we're using Mexican labor and stuff to build it because we can get it a lot cheaper than if we hired some Americans, motherfucker. And that's the name of the game, is getting it done cheaply, right? Because when they need an asylum, they need a place to go. There's plenty of room where no one's living in that area. If you leave there, you're in the desert. Like you try to sneak over to America anyways, you're in the desert. Not a good plan, really. Definitely not a good plan. You're better off staying inside the walls of the fucking city, man. One, they don't want you over there. And two, they like you here. And they speak your language. And you have rights and protections and all the stuff that you don't have. Like I said, you can make a new, there's the Bill of Rights. I think we should go back over. My honest opinion, I think we should go back over we should get Mensa, constitutional scholars, politicians, and some regular everyday people. And anybody else that can, like scientists and whatever, that can get in on this so that we can get the best result possible because they want to make a more perfect union. So we make a new amendment to the Constitution. This amendment just modernizes and sums up rights and rules. And this part is to be amended every 20 years. This specifically is designed to be amended. It's supposed to be in keeping with the document it is inside, therefore reinforced and bound by the Constitution. But this part can change, and if nothing else, you can just get rid of that and you still have the original Constitution. Okay, this isn't working. Get it the fuck out of here. See what I'm saying? It's that easy, just like the ban on alcohol. Repeal it. Look through the Bill of Rights and come up with a new set of rights. Still in keeping, but clarifying what we mean now. So you can't have these the constitutional fundamentalists that say, like, I want to stick to the original interpretation of the Constitution. What they mean is I'm a racist fuckhead. And those fucking forefathers owned slaves. And God damn it, they did not mean for it to be this way where my boss could be a black guy. That's why I said update it to be like, look, no matter what the framers found it on, we've updated now. To include we the people is now we. We the people. Not we the rich, white, landowning male people, is what they meant. So it's almost talking about the originalists and the original interpretation. That's what they meant. That's what they mean. I think most of them owned slaves. As they talk about their freedom. The original fucking Karens. The original fucking Karens. They left fucking England, wherever the fuck they were, in search of freedom. And it was so important to them to get it that they subjugated the people they found when they got there. Stripping them of their freedom. And then in order to get the fucking work done cheap enough, they went and stole slaves. And then have the nerve that once they get free to call them lazy. Mainly because one of the things about the 13th Amendment, the only people that can be made to force to be forced to work for free are prisoners. They found a way around that, didn't they? Instead of having chain gangs, now, with privatized prisons, you charge for the bed. Doesn't get any labor out of them. They're still generating you money by being in jail and not in the streets. And by being in jail, you can't be part of your kid's life, can you? Not a real positive part, which then continues the cycle of poverty. And eventually you go, I'm tired of being poor and I'm tired of being hungry. Yank. Once you cross that line, it's a lot easier to cross other lines. That first one was for food. Now I want to see if I can get this stereo. The last 20 times have been for food. Let's see what happens. And when you got people that have something that's booming, is doing better than your Wall Street, and they're calling it Black Wall Street, and in a jealous fit of rage, you decide to burn it to the ground, you don't get to then tell them how, like, why can't you guys dig yourself out of the poverty? Huh? You've been free for 200 years, 140 years, you know what I mean? You've been free for 140 years. How come you can't get your shit together? Oh, because every time we do, you burn it to the ground. Every time we get a leader, peaceful or slightly agitated at the situation. Did Malcolm X say by any means necessary? Yeah, by any means necessary, because what he's saying was we're tired. We tried to do the peaceful stuff. We tried to do all this shit, and you won't do it. So we're going to continue to try and be peaceful, but when that stops working, or if you break out any guns, you stick any dogs on us, you start breaking out fire hoses on us, we're here to let you know that does not work anymore. We're going to get this to stop. by any means necessary. A peaceful handshake, hey, cool. Yeah, does it stop? Right, fine. So I'll sign a thing saying we're not going to seek revenge. You realize it's as good as the treaties that you signed with the Native Americans saying that you wouldn't cross the fucking Mississippi River? Every time you guys started to expand, you kept saying we won't go past this. We won't go past this. We won't go past this. We won't go past the Mississippi River. Well, now we bought everything from under you from France. That'd be like somebody walking up in your house and saying, look, dude, I know we've been buying up the neighborhood. I know. We're not going to come into your neighborhood. I mean, that side of the neighborhood, like your side of the street, we're just taking out this side of the street. We will not come over to your side of the street. Sure, we'll sign a contract saying we won't come over to your side. We just won't want to do it. We don't want to do it. Dude, we got plenty of room over here for the next 30 gender. There's gold where? I knew there was gold here. Well, we knew it. We knew it. Oh, wow. Louisiana, for the Louisiana Purchase, that's for sale. So the person who said they're not going to buy your side of the road. Because, dude, it was on your house, was on Zillow for like fucking $300. How could I not buy it? I bought 7 houses yesterday. Well, get your money back. It's my house. I didn't get a penny, so you don't get it. And they're like, that's not how it works. See, he had one of these, and I've got one of these. So you can cry on your way out. You can cry. Sure, cry. As long as you're moving your ass that way. Don't stop on any, if you see any good land, don't stop there. That's ours. Just go ahead and find the shittiest plot of land. I know some of you are dying on the way, having to walk there. That's not really my problem. You really should have packed for the trip. I came prepared for the trip. I knew how long of a trip was going to be. How did you not know how long of a trip we're taking? I get you're a prisoner, but you should have dressed prepared. I get we didn't give you the clothing, but that's hardly my fault. What were you doing in your house when I bought it? You fucking savage. And then you try and scalp my friend? Do you know who you're dealing with? God has chosen my people alone to teach black people in school that it's okay to do poetry and be whatever. To save inner city youths, to destroy civilizations and then wonder how they were fucking formed. But we could know if we just didn't have burned all their information. And to destroy the trust of everyone we come in contact with. Uniquely chosen by God. Speaking of, the Constitution does not match the 10 Commandments at all. It starts off on the bad foot. The first one is that I'm the Lord thy God, you shall have no other gods before me. America, we won't stop you from worshiping whoever you want to worship. Those don't jive at all. You will have no gods before me. Don't listen to that. You can do whatever you want. Thou shalt not kill. Dude, we got to put an asterisk next to that. If America gives you a standard issue military weapon, it's okay to kill. We are giving you the order. Well, God told us to give you the order. He's always had armies. Of course, our army is the one he loves. Did you see what we did to the Native Americans, what we've done to everybody? There's no stopping us. We just trample over everything we want and just take it. Isn't that right, Donald Trump? You're just going to roll into Greenland and take it. You're going to go to Panama and take it. You're going to go to Canada and take it. And you want me to believe you didn't rape somebody? Is that what you want me to believe? Stump? According to Stormy Daniels. According to Stormy Daniels. You could always whip it out and prove everybody wrong. That it doesn't look like a fucking Mario mushroom. Toad. Fuck. No wonder they fucking chose Pepe the Frog. Yeah, the Bible talks about that. The unclean spirits coming out of the mouths of the beast, the false prophet, and the Antichrist. They look like frogs, the unclean spirits. No, nothing? No, why would you know anything about that? It doesn't have anything to directly do with the birth and death of Jesus. And that's your favorite time of year. Christmas is when you get gifts, so Christmas. Make sure you make your list, so Christmas. You can get your gifts, so Christmas. I'm a capitalist, so Christmas is my favorite time of year, Christmas. Whatever the preacher says, someone will sing a song about it, Christmas. Marks the end of the year. Religious holiday shared by a lot of people in different religions throughout the year. Demonically proven not to be Jesus' birthday, Christmas. It's just a really fucked up world when the schools don't teach you. They teach you what to think, not how to think. In fact, they want you to actively shut off the critical thinking part of your brain and just accept what they say. They basically demand it. You won't get a good grade with asking questions about stuff. You just won't. You get sent to the principal's office for being a disruption, even though there's no stupid questions. And although someone might ask you to explain the thing 7 or 8 times, you can't stand me asking one question one time. That makes a very valid point. Which is coming true right now, according to the James Webb Telescope, if that thing's even fucking real. For all we know, it could be an image generator just orbiting space, orbiting the Earth in near Earth orbit or whatever, wherever the fuck it is. It just generates pictures based on pictures we had before. It generates 4K clear, crystal clear images. One of the original AIs. They just send prompts to it. You don't honestly know. Ooh, a new James Webb Telescope, knowing that AI is out there. Knowing that all they have to do is feed prompts of what we expect to see from the solar system, and it can invent its own things. Fantastic things that you want to see, that you want to be out there. You guys just swallow it down without even thinking, like, why? What's going, what? My question in school was, the teacher said nothing can be proven true, it can be proven false. My hand immediately goes up. Why are we learning any of this? No, I'm being serious. Why are we learning this? None of it can be proven true. It can only be proven false. Which you just told me that, right? Why is this a problem? Why do I have to go talk to the principal? I'm asking because in what, 10, 20 years, what if they find out that everything we've learned today is full of shit? I was more tactical about it. It's wrong. Everything you taught us is wrong. For right now, it's the best. But you see what I'm saying? You're not standing up there saying this is the best we have right now. You're saying this is how it was. 14 billion years ago, this happened. 8 billion years ago, this happened. Really? Who was there to write it down? No one. But if a tree falls in the woods, that's been bothering you guys for... Fuck, it's been bothering you guys for a long time, hasn't it? Since the words that exited somebody's mouth. It's been bothering you guys. And that's just a tree falling. It's pretty self-evident that it would make sound, but, I mean, the point is very valid. If no one's there to hear it, does it? You don't know. Even if you leave a listening device, there's someone to listen to it. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what happens when you're gone. Do trees even fall while you're gone? Is it a computer program that just is designed to remove some from time to time or lay them down? You weren't there for the collapse. There's some pretty obvious explanations that don't include it teleporting from... But if this was a computer simulation, no one's around to watch it, like you'd know. Especially if it stacked them up in a way that looked like it had fallen and been cut and put into organized packs. Drive around fucking Grand Theft Auto sometime. Grand Theft Auto 5. Drive around there sometime. Look at all the details they put into it. Small details. Stacks of wood places. Where'd that come from? Did a tree fall? Is it just a stack there just to make complete the look? Because nothing in here really burns. None of the trees are really alive. So what's the story? Is there a story? Probably not. But there could be. If a programmer programs a program but doesn't program it to be programmed, can I write my own idea as to why that thing is there? Sure. You can't be anything but a criminal in Grand Theft Auto. So my guy's a undercover. But he started liking the lifestyle a little bit, but he's not enough to like really go off the end, but enough that he stays embedded. He does just enough bad shit to keep his cover. Does just enough good shit to keep his job. So basically, kind of like when I go in there and play, I just basically do busy work. And if you, again, going back to the 90s, if you go back to then, to do that in good quality of any kind, you had to go to a fucking arcade and plunk in at least a quarter per game, sometimes 50 cents per game. The thing that really sucks is that for everything that goes good, somebody's got to fuck it up. Like the arcade was the shit. I mean, it was a great place for kids to hang out. But now, especially in this day and age, I can see all the people that belong on Chris Hansen's show showing up. But can you imagine having an innocent place where fucking kids can be kids around kids? And the people watching are responsible, like college people. And the kids are like teenagers. It's like an all age type place where they can go in and meet all the kids from like around the city, all the different schools. And no, you leave all that school bullshit and school pride. You're here to meet people and hang out, have actual interactions and talk with people and get to know people. The foreign exchange students you didn't get to know from your school. Speaking of, maybe stop asking the foreign exchange students how to fucking say cuss words and actually learn something of value. You only have a limited time with them. You can learn how to say fuck, shit, ass in a weekend. Have that on the way out the door. What's the money like? What's this like? What's that like? What's this like? What's that? What's this? Is it different? Is it better? Do you like it more? What's the difference? How's it compare? But instead, America's like, all right, we know ours is better, but I mean, how much more do you like it? It's better, right? It's better. It's better, right? It's better being America than where the shithole you came from. And they're not gonna go, actually, I miss home. They were nice there. Are they? Would you say that? No, not in their country as an American. In America as a foreigner visitor. So you can't even step out the analogy enough to be outside of your own skin. You say, oh yeah, I'd tell the French to go fuck themselves. Yeah, because you're an American. You're a cocky American in France. And you know the American embassy's right over there. And you pull in and call to Uncle Sam, and they were looking for a reason. They want to build their empire anyways. They're looking for a reason to start fighting. It's really kind of sad to watch again how many people don't understand what's actually happening. But if you had your eyes open this whole time, you know exactly what's happening. There is no choice. The choices are lube or no lube. Why would they do inflation? Let's think about it a little bit. The government, racks up a fuck ton of debt to foreign countries because we do not follow the Constitution here in America. Sorry to upset whoever this upsets, but it is the truth. We do not follow the Constitution because if we did, Congress, look it up, would make the money. They would be in charge of weights and measures, which means they would determine how much all of our money could be backed by gold and actually worth something. And then as necessary, they adjust. Because we don't owe anybody, but we need to like kind of like make things stretch a little bit longer. We need more bills in circulation because there's more people being born all the time. If the same number of bills are constantly being printed, you're not keeping up with the times. You're not going to have enough money to go around to everybody. And everybody needs to eat. Everybody needs to do this stuff. And unless you're going to do it in a digital version like they're trying to do, which is just right for all kinds of abuse, especially ending birthright citizenship. You talk shit about the government, which is now no longer protected speech. Because all they have to do is say you're not being a patriot, and therefore you're being against America, so therefore you're an enemy to America, and if your talk continues on, you may lead others to this. It's the same thing as when they were trying to do like the anti-war stuff and the oh, you mean when they're trying to like round up all the communists and they blacklisted people? The way Trump's trying to blacklist people right now? You guys just never learn, do you? Well, that was in a different time. That was like, there's no way that'll happen again. Right, because I mean, there's no way that anyone could ever watch history and be like, really? So he just lied, and he got the whole country to go along. How much money did he make? Shit, I can lie. 4 years? Oh fuck, I could lie for 4 years, easy. Especially when all I do is not actually fix things, just point at the problems and blame the people that are. And when we get done, I promise you it will be fixed. And everybody cheers and yells and screams because he promised you it's going to be fixed. And as soon as he says something, you guys go, "Oh, that's done now. Done." He said he's going to fix it. It's done now. He said day one. It's done. I saw him sign all the executive orders. It's already done. We now have new Medicare. We now have new health care. We now have everything is taken care of. The war in Ukraine's over. Kumbaya is now the new fucking national anthem. So you have an option of one of the twos that you can sing. We're gonna change the pitch of Kumbaya to be in the pitch of Star Spangled Banner. So we have like a kind of a chorale, like, you know what I mean? Some like, oh Kumbaya, can you see Kumbaya? You know what I mean? They be going together at the same time. Because there's nothing better being a patriot than being a double patriot. Except maybe if you had like a triple patriot. But, I mean, fitting a whole triple patriot in there might be kind of rough. Oh, we don't have to use lip. Never mind, it won't be hard at all. Yeah, just do one of these right there. Jam and just jam and just jam until you like it. You'll learn to love it. About the 40th one, because about the 40th one, that's when I started going like that. And you're like, okay, that's better. Jesus Christ, man. Were you angry with it back there? What are you doing? Sorry, I had some frustration I had to work out. Yeah. You obviously did. I don't know why you need all these other officers to hold me down while you did it. How you convinced them to, oh, they're next? Okay, gotcha. And how you people don't see it, man. In order to pay back the money that they owe, when you hand them $1, they still want their profit. So they want their cut, then the government needs a cut, and the government needs another cut of the taxes so that they can go ahead and actually pay on the debt. Because when the Federal Reserve prints the money, something a lot of people learn way, way too late, especially countries. Once they've already done the deal with the devil, they learn way too late. Follow the logic here. The Federal Reserve loans us the money that's in your wallet. Federal Reserve. Backed by our federal government, even though the Federal Reserve is not federal. Full backing. Complete separate entity. So much so that with the guy who's between the liaison between the Federal Reserve and the White House, they asked him if he was going to resign. He said no. Just that quick and fast. He said no. What if Donald Trump asked you to resign? You got like a look in his face, and he just goes, no. I'm not leaving. But when he said that, I could hear behind there, the people I work for, I don't answer the president. The president answers to them. And I work for them, so technically I'm above the president. Oh, I'm below them, but I'm above the president. He will do what I tell him to do. No? Watch us crank up the interest rate. Watch us fuck your economy. Watch us not print any more money for a little bit. Watch us accumulate because you put us in charge of it. So watch us accumulate. Like just we'll take about half the money in circulation out of circulation and just burn it. What are you gonna do then? Bow down and do what we say? Yeah, that's what I thought. Good bald head come over boy. Fat fuck. Orange disgusting yuck. Wash that shit off. Now that he doesn't have to be elected, I guarantee you're going to start seeing the fucking pale Donald. As time goes on, he's already got the fucked up shitty haircut. I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but like it's kind of like Abraham Lincoln when he got those, they had all these portraits done where he didn't have a beard. He gets a portrait done. All those with the beard, all those previous portraits they had done, now pretty much worthless. They didn't understand collector's items back then, but it would be nowadays be like shit if we had like an original printing. They would. That's how you can tell usually collector's items. If they announce you it's going to be a collector's item, it's not going to be a collector's item. If they announce you it's going to be a collector's item, it's not going to be a collector's item. Collector's items are going to be things that are disposed of, easily gotten rid of, meant for children to play with. Because children lose things and throw them away. So therefore get the youngest that you can get and still be somewhat mature enough. Understand? McDonald's Happy Meal toys. Those are designed to be cheap, gotten with the food you got anyways, played with and left on the playground, whatever. The parents don't have to care. It was a free toy that came with the fucking Happy Meal. As long as it shuts you the fuck up for a couple of days, I don't give a shit. Eat your fries. Fine, use my tablet. Yeah, there's porn out there and I didn't put any kind of fucking child safety lock on there. Yeah, there's predators and I didn't fucking put any kind of protections on there. But use my tablet as long as it keeps you shut up. So, the Federal Reserve prints out money that they loan to us at interest. But here's the kick in the nuts. They never print out the interest money. Let's take a quick think about this. I loan you $100. Tell you you owe me 135. When I give you this 100, you owe me 135. You're like, no problem, I can get that. Well, here's the deal. There's going to be interest for every, amount of time, X amount of time that you can't pay it. Shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to get it paid off. No problem at all. Okay. Here's your $100. We expect our 135. No problem. You have $100 and no way to get 35. The 100's already spent. When you got it from the loan, it was already spent. And you have no access to any other. You are now in debt. That debt is now accruing interest. Every cycle of however X equals time allowed in the contract, the amount of payment. So it just keeps compounding that interest and compounding and compounding. Meanwhile, there's no money printed. We're going to need like another $3,000, man. Okay? But I'm going to need $4,000 from you. We went through this earlier. Okay, well, then you can tell you can tell your people what's going on. We can tell them that we own them, that you sold them to us. No, no, no. Just give me the 3,000. I'll figure something out. Okay. If you ever need more money, let us know. Because we're printing it, it means absolutely nothing to us. It means everything to you. You know how we get rid of the national debt? We don't get rid of immigrants. We don't hurt people. What we do is we use the military to take over the Federal Reserve and say, in the name of the U.S. Congress, we are seizing this bank, this illegal bank, under the Constitution. We're seizing it and all assets. Why would you do that when you can fight the woke agenda of paying attention to what's going on around you? Being aware of the fact that transgender people are there and have feelings, just like you. That gay people are not an abomination, that they are human beings that deserve to love each other and be loved by whoever wants to love them in whatever way, fashion they want to, just like you do. You're talking about how the homosexuality is a slippery slope to blah, 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 and child pedophilia. You know, you guys elected a pedophile to president. Mr. Grab him by the pussy, who bought Miss Teen USA and would just walk in on the young girls, the teenage girls, while they're changing. Pedophile. You're going to walk in on teenage girls while they're changing. And you don't think that you're a pedophile. And your supporters. Despite photos of you and Jeffrey Epstein together. Knowing what we know about Jeffrey Epstein. Videos of you and Jeffrey Epstein together. Contacts for you and Jeffrey Epstein's phone. Epstein used to recruit underage girls from your golf course. You're quoted in a magazine saying, yeah, he likes to party. And from what I understand, he likes girls almost as much as I do. And I understand he likes them on the young side. So you knew. Yeah, you convinced all your followers that, well, no, you don't really talk about that anymore. Like Cosmic Pizza and all that shit's kind of dropped away, hasn't it? There's not so much about the satanic cabal of baby eating pedophiles anymore, like it was when Obama was in office. It wasn't just that he was black, that he committed the crime of being black and sitting in the White House. Like he wasn't half black. Like he was all white, not half white. And they were not going to have that, nor his insolence of having a goddamn Dijon on the president's fucking hamburger. I'll be goddamned if I'm going to sit back and watch the day when the American president, who we're supposed to fucking, have respect for him, whatever, orders a fucking burger and gets like the mayo he wants, the mayo and the fucking mustard that he wants on it. Wait. The boss of the company didn't wave at every single fucking employee? Oh, he waved with a fucking cup in his hand. And this is your leader? No, no, I want somebody who's going to go up there and start sucking Kim Jong Un's dick. I want guys who can go to Russia and get given a fucking soccer ball and look giddier than a schoolgirl who's just been asked to prom by her crush. I want the guy who hangs out with Vladimir Putin and won't release like what they talked about behind closed doors. I think when they ask that, either the translators, just them and the translators, and they won't tell us what they talked about for what, 10, 15, 20 minutes. We're not allowed to know. Like, we don't pay his fucking salary. Oh, he rejected us. Did he? Did he reject his salary? Did he? Did he actually run a charity, or did he use a charity to fund his own bullshit? Has he been banned from doing business in New York for being such a fucking criminal piece of shit? 34 felonies? And you still believe he's part of the Dindu tribe, huh? Interesting. Interesting. Who's okay to be in the tribe and who's not okay? I guess it's a skin color tribe, right? As the white Dindus actually didn't do. The black Dindus are the ones that did. And you can tell because, like Trump said, common sense. Common sense. I can see things, and so therefore, when it fucks up and fall out of the sky, one thing's for sure is not because I fired the FAA director and never put in a replacement. That could not be it. It couldn't be that I fired the guy of the aviation safety. That has nothing to do with why planes and things are falling out of the sky right now. 3 crashes. In the 90s, Donald Trump was a con man, piece of shit, being sued out of his fucking mind, real estate agent, doing commercials with fucking Grimace for McDonald's because he's so fucking broke. The whole thing with The Apprentice, the fucking people, if you actually talk to the people that did it, they are upset that they helped to lend to the legitimacy of making Donald Trump look like he actually knows what the fuck he's doing. They said when they showed up, that one room that he's usually in, that was his boardroom. The boardroom that they have, that was a set that the company, that they built inside Trump Tower, which he now uses as a actual. They said they were shocked by the musty smell. They said that Donald Trump regularly had to be changed, that he had a diaper. And watch that video that you guys love to watch where he's body slamming the CNN. You can clearly see it. You can clearly see that's not a lie. He is wearing a diaper. Back in the 90s, or whenever he did that with, the whole thing. He was going around bragging all the time, especially through the 80s, about how rich he was. And I fucking hate those kind of people. They're just shit. They're absolute shit. It's one thing to be rich. Sure, whatever. You don't have to go around telling everybody all the time, and that's all he did. Should have known then. It's kind of like a guy who's constantly talking about the size of his unit. Guys that do usually don't fucking brag that much about it, you know? If it is, it's kind of like, ah. Because they got nothing to prove. The ones that are like, you just wait till you see it, and it's gonna blind you with its beauty. You've never seen anything like this before. Yeah, you're right. I've never seen something that stumpy before. That's pretty. Is that all like? Is it all penis head? Is that all? It's like a button. Nice of you to shave your pubes so it shows it does have a bit of a stalk. But the music was fucking phenomenal. And unfortunately, like I said, I didn't notice how many people were just listening to the music as a background. I took it so much serious, so much more serious. Because music means everything to me. Music is incredible. I've always loved music. I've always loved the feeling of the vibrations. I've always loved the sound of the music. Just love it. And I don't understand people that don't take it seriously. Because it's truly almost a magical thing. It really is. It can make you feel things that, you know what I mean? You can, it's crazy. Music is a wonderful thing. Just a wonderful thing. It's great for release. It's great for the crowd to release if they can, relate to the song and they sing along. And what's even more fucked up is because most artists are like, fairly isolated and alone. Now imagine you go on stage and you're still feeling that way because you really are kind of cut off from your crowd, aren't you? Even with Twitter, meet and greets, there's a limited amount of time. So most of the conversations are going to be superficial because you don't want to get too deep because if people don't like you, they're not going to separate you from your music, you from your art, you from your acting. They don't like you. They don't like your shit. That's why cancel culture has existed. As long as there have been people reliant on other people for a paycheck, there has been cancel culture. It's no more or less out of control. It's more visible now. That's the problem. Things that you guys think are not normal is just more visible now. There's nothing new under the sun. The Bible says so. There's nothing new under the sun. So, well, we didn't have this problem with gay. You did. They just were smart enough to stay quiet because you guys have pitchforks and knives and whatever. Crucifixes and all kinds of shit. Not like crucifix like get behind me. Like crucifix like we're going to string you up. In the name of the Lord, we're going to purge this sin from you. Like Jesus didn't die for everyone's sin. Not for his, just mine. Me and my friends in my church. You guys have all got it wrong, but that's okay because you still believe in him. So we're the remnant seed. We're the remnant seed. We're the remnant seed. My preacher told us we're the remnant seed. Okay, we're all the remnant seed. How can we all be a remnant seed of 144,000 people? I don't know. God works in mysterious ways. Just don't fuck this up for me. I'm going to heaven. Don't fuck it up for me. You make me think too much, and I won't be thinking that I'm going, and that's going to make me scared, and I don't want to be scared. I just got over that. I just left church. And that's the whole reason I went, is because I was scared. And the guy with the hat and the weird clothing said words, and I feel better now. I don't remember everything he said, but I know it was true. Um, it's just such a weird world we live in. You know, like Seattle is still there, New York's still there, Los Angeles, everything's still there. All the stuff, all the locations are there. But I guarantee they're not the same. Nothing the same. But then, you know, like, I mean, oh, look at the West. Yeah, you know, but the West and stuff, it's a bit different. You got to admit it's a little bit different. Because as you go across the landscape, yeah, there were small towns. And some of the small mining towns are still there that have been abandoned. Other ones that became bigger towns, Las Vegas and shit. They're still there. They're just much fucking bigger than they ever were when, you know, back in those days. That was my point. The Los Angeles hasn't changed much in size, I don't believe, between then. Seattle hasn't changed much in size since then. Maybe in population, but not much in size. Because just like, you know, inflation, the cost keeps going up, but your paycheck does not. And the taxes on the back end keep going up. I don't see how people trust Republicans at all, politicians, because their big plan, because they are so gung ho and dying to raid the Social Security. They are so trying to convince you that it's failing and dying and no good, because that is a huge pool of money for like millions of people. The paycheck for millions of people for the next decade, 15 years, that they could actually use to spend on the debt, which they've been doing. That's why it's in trouble now. They've been taking money out of that and leaving little IOUs in there. And that's why it's getting to the point where in about 15 years it won't be able to handle anymore. Because they keep taking out of there. And that way they go, see, we fixed the budget. Don't the budget numbers look great? Doesn't your future look poor? But right now, in this second, doesn't it look great? We'll worry about how the fuck you retire later. Hopefully you'll die. That's what we're hoping. See, we raise the retirement age, and then you die on the job. And we keep the money anyways. Sounds fun, doesn't it? You know, you finally get to your golden years, and they're like, actually, you've got another 5, 10 years to go. Well, yeah, because of medical advance. I know you don't have the money for those medical advances, but Elon and his friends can live to be about 100 and 120 years. So the life expectancy for people, not you, humans, which you are human, right? Because we're only hiring humans. Okay, so you're a human. And humans can live up to 120 years. So if you need 40 years at the end of your life to like relax and retire, we can trim that down to about 30 years. That means you can die, or you can keep working until 90. Oh, we'll cover all the glucose chondroitin stuff to make your joints and ligaments and all that stuff still lubricated. We don't want you, you know, breaking a bone on company time, having to pay for your shit. That would be fucked up. We have a health insurance policy so that when you die, no, not for you and your spouse. We're out of an employee, man. What are we going to do? Huh? Now we have to do another interview. Now we have to hire someone else. You know what kind of inconvenience your death puts on Walmart? You always think about yourself. Your death. My life. How am I going to pay for groceries? What about me, man? I'm trying to build another 5,000 Walmarts around the world so that we are the leading. Don't you care at all about my dreams? Don't you want to work towards the better my dream is? The better my dream is. And you work for me, and I'm a job creator. And you're entitled. You think you deserve food and to be treated like a human being? Get the fuck out of my office. Just deserve. You haven't put in your 40 hours. You don't deserve shit until you do that. Once you do that, then I'll act. Well, I'll start talking to you like you're actually a human being. Until then, fuck you. What have you done for me today? Well, then don't expect me to do anything for you. Let you go home early? Why? What have you done for me? Yeah, but I gave you the job. The whole house you have that there, that you owe that to me. I'm the job creator. You see how the income disparity starts skyrocketing to the rich? But this is all stuff I've been saying since the 90's, and here we are in the find out stage. That's all that's left to do. There are no good outcomes from this. None. Even the one that's going to look good is going to be fucking horrible. You just don't know it. And it won't look like it. It won't feel like it. There's a way that seems right to a man, but the end result is death. Keep that in mind when they're offering to let you out. You just got to take the card. It's not really a mark, man. No, you can either get the chip. No one's forcing you to. It just helps with the smart devices. You can turn your TV on like that. You can make your ceiling fan go faster. You can clap at your car and auto start it. You know what I mean? You can do this and it'll turn the heater on your car. It's just got motion sensor activity, and it's nothing different than the card. This is just a card. It's got your library, your medical information, and your bank account and stuff. So instead of having to carry a bunch of cards, you just carry one card. And that way, if we're getting dispersing, since all the money is now, we're gone digital. So we're dispersing all the payments digitally anyways, from food stamps, WIC, and all that stuff. We can just do it that way. That way we don't have to print out any paper. And that's going to save us a shit ton of money. And then we can start paying off some of this debt. And then we can pay you like $30 an hour. Because just like the money, it's not fucking real. But now we can just drop, instead of having to drop extra paper in your pocket or anything like that, we just drop extra numbers, put an extra zero on the end of that. Merry Christmas. How many people freak out for a chance to be on, like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And they get like $50,000, $60,000, and just kind of like it is, for us, is mind breaking, life changing amount of money. For Ryan Seacrest, that's not even what he makes per episode. Per episode in one show. And he's like on 4 or 5 shows as a podcast. I mean, that motherfucker's every goddamn where. Does the New Year's fucking Eve thing. Fuckers everywhere. American Idol, it fuckers everywhere. Probably behind me right now. If I turn around and look, he's probably back there in the bathroom. That's probably the sound I hear back then. It's either him or Anderson Cooper, one of the two. Those motherfuckers are everywhere. Fucking Visa. They changed the last name to Visa because they're everywhere I want to be. I'm in Rome. Throwing back to you, Anderson. Thank you, Anderson. Motherfucker, how are you in the field and at the fucking what? Because that was live. I saw that shit. Now you're in Guatemala? What the fuck, man? Are they cloning you? What the fuck's going on? I want answers, Anderson. How the fuck are you everywhere? And that's another. It's just Timothy Chalamet in every fucking movie now. Is that what it is? Is that what we're doing? Just gonna cast Timothy Chalamet as every fucking thing. He's Robin Hood. He's a wrestler. He's Bob Dylan. He's the savior in Dune. He's a fucking superhero. Just everything, really, just everything. All right. You guys, blow your load as much as you want to. I can't stop you. I mean, it's kind of weird, but you do you, man. Yeah, we're going on 3 hours, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. The 90s were the shit. If you weren't there, you didn't know, so you don't understand. The music was fucking dope. It still is. The people were fucking pretty cool. And if nothing else, for a while there, black, white, we all got along pretty well. The youth. I won't say necessarily, of course, the KKK kids are always going to be fucking pieces of shit. But for the most part, there was a lot of mixing. How you think the new wave of rock rap started coming out? Those people were starting to hang out together. Biohazard and fucking, unless you got 10 sticky fingers. Onyx. Biohazard and Onyx. Aerosmith and Run DMC. Fucking Anthrax and Public Enemy. And then it started becoming the singer just started becoming a rapper. And I don't know if it was necessarily that they tried to find some rap guys or what the fuck, that music, dude. That's not what rap's about. No, we're kind of doing something a little bit new. I don't know if it was that case. I don't know if there's dude, I would love to get there on stage with you and it's a rock band and you're not really rock. You know what I mean? You don't really have the culture of rock. There's not gonna be an R&B band. I know I can sing the rock style. I like Pantera and stuff. Eh. Body count, but that is pretty cool that it's starting to pick up. I think it's starting to pick up. I've been seeing more people as white people are starting to kind of get into R&B and those kind of things and starting to do well. It's still missing something, but everybody starts somewhere, right? Go back to the earliest rap. Very, very rudimentary, just making rhymes. It's not very fucking and this is when white people tend to start rapping. That's usually kind of where they start out too. Unless they've been kind of into it and been listening to a bunch of stuff, or even we're introduced to 90s type stuff, that's again a golden era of music. Rap was really doing digital underground, Tupac, De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, Wu Tang. It's on your brain. All the motherfucking guys from Wu Tang when they did their solo shit, dude. Come on, it was a great time for all Biggie. It was just a great time. It was a great time for music. There was stuff for everybody, man. If you were into drugs and shit, there was music for you. If you were into fucking preppy kind of 90s, more of a Friends type 90s rather than, the dirty kind of 90s that I loved. There was a 90s for you too with 90s music, you know what I mean? There's a I'm a Barbie girl and I'm blue. That wasn't for me and my people. Ace of Spades, that was not for me and my kind. But it was getting very, very popular. Hootie and the Blowfish, that was not for us. Yeah. But I mean, even country had some really good stuff. Randy Travis. Garth Brooks was making a big old stink, man, back then. There's a lot of people. I mean, country kind of had a resurgence around then, around the 90s. It had a big resurgence around then. Flare trucks and flare side trucks and shit. The reason country is the way it is now is because of that. There's that big push in the 90s. And then as time went on here recently, they've started doing the blending of listen to rap, listen to R&B channel, and then flip over to country. They're basically the same. They just the instrumentation is different. I'm going down, I'm all right. Going out tonight. Going to start a fight. Whatever the fuck it is, you know what I mean? It's just very. It's not like country used to be, like Willie Nelson, that old style. It's much more modern, much more. I guess I'd call it. Wouldn't call it country, rural rap, white rural rap. That's what it's become. And I mean, I can see why they wanted to steer away the music from the scene that the 90s were going, because the 90s were unpredictable as far as that goes. From Kurt, from Chris Cornell, you didn't know what to expect and what to do. They even had a hard time trying to like put a label on them. They didn't want that. They wanted a package. Like I said, I said that before. They had a package that they were trying to sell. They had your beer drinking music. They had your sad, when you're sad and drinking beer music. They had your happy and party, music and drinking beer music. They have, your horny and fucking and drinking beer music. You're drinking beer with your drinking beer buddies music. You know what I mean? There's all those different beer drinking musics. And here comes this alternative that you can drink beer too, but it's just like they didn't know how to quite market it quite right because, it's different. People are trying to decide how they feel about it. They don't know what they feel about it. They don't know if they like it, if it's a passing fad, if it's going to be a thing. And marketing doesn't like that. They like steady results all the time. Profits constantly going up, costs constantly going down. Labor staying either stagnant or dropping. As long as those three things are going the way that they want, they don't give a fuck about laws, about who dies, about who gets fired, who gets hired. They don't care. As long as that profit line keeps going. There's just so much shit that we're all blind to, and we don't even. I mean, of course, you can't have a song that goes, take a good look at all the things you don't see. Exactly how do you do that? You don't see it. So I think we're about to have another Gilded Age of Music because people are kind of turning their back on AI, and they're it's not that they're not impressed with what it can do and whatever. Some are liking it, but other ones are realizing that people are starting to become less necessary in the equation of making a song, yet people are going to be wanting the same credit. They're seeing the same thing that musicians actually played instruments saw when the 90s and the rap and sampling and all the keyboarding and automation of like the drum pads started coming in and stuff like that, and using drum machines rather than fucking actual drummer. They're like, dude, this is not, I mean, more and more you're getting like a band of one, which is not as fun to watch. You like to see the interplay, even angry. You'd like to see the interplay of the band, the way they work off of each other. You do. You also want to hear the different idea, whether you know it or not. You want to hear the different ideas of the different band members, because that's what makes the music you hear. Even if they're just going, okay, that sounds good. Other ones are going, yeah, let's change that. You know what I mean? There's some guys that might just be like, sure, whatever. When you guys get it done, let me know. I'll play my part. Other ones are going, okay, well, I like your verse, but I think we should go with my chorus. Okay. And then we need to write a bridge. Okay, we'll work on that together. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. And they work it out, and then they show the drummer or whatever, and then everybody gets together on the same page, and they put it out there. And so, yeah. That's why when a band member goes solo, completely solo, not like joining another band, usually doesn't do very good, because they're part of an equation. They weren't calling all the shots. Even if you liked mostly the songs that John Lennon wrote, you still liked what Paul McCartney did over top of it. You still like what George Harrison did. You still like what Ringo did. And John probably wouldn't do it the same way, because no one's going to approach the instrument the exact same way. And certain times when you have mixtures together, it makes like a beautiful tonic. Maybe kind of a little bit volatile, but it's beautiful either to look at or wonderful to drink. Other times you just make a bowl of fucking radiated puke. Nobody wants to see it. No one wants to hear it. No one wants to smell it. Whatever. You don't know unless you put it out. So at least you have the balls to try something. A lot of people don't even fucking try. And that's what's really sad. It's not sad to fail. Failing is how you learn. You fail and you don't give up. You realize what you did wrong. And try again. You fail, you try again, and you just keep getting up, and you keep moving forward. And you keep trying with the intent of getting better and actually learning what went wrong that made you fail. After a certain point, you should hang it up, but that point being when you're no longer making your bills, because you're so sure that your break is going to be coming around any second. No, I'm not going to get another job, because then I'm going to have to quit that job when my break pops up. How long have you been doing it? 5 years? How many ever come out to your shows? 4? It's really starting to pick up now. Yeah, you might want to like either like find another approach, or at least get a fucking job. Something, anything where you're bringing in some kind of something to your, to your name. Something. Something. Sometimes that's enough for people. If you have a caring heart and you're doing something, like my situation here, I've got this entire place to myself. This entire house, this entire mobile, 2-bedroom. Why would I give that up for someone who just needs from me? Shouldn't you have something to offer? I'm going to share my house. I'm already paying for the house. I'm not asking for that. I'm already paying for the food. I always cook enough for two. I want to stay in the habit, because I mean, I've always, from a young age, wanted a wife. So I've always did, like when I was younger, I cooked for the whole family. So cooking for a family of five, cooking for two is actually a down take. But it keeps me in the habit. On top of that, I got leftovers for the meal for the next day. So usually, if I'm cooking for two, I tend to cook for four, so that way there are leftovers, just in case I don't feel like cooking the next day. It's just easier. Lunch, quick snack, whatever. It's just food. Just really, I mean, that's the main thing about fast food is that it's fast and easy. Well, I'm getting faster than already prepared. Just need to be heated up, and the seasoning's been sitting there, so it's even better the second day. So, um, yeah, 3 hours and 7 minutes. But why would you share with somebody that has nothing to offer into your life? Again, I'm not asking you necessarily to pay the rent. I'm not asking you to buy food. I'm not asking you for. I'm paying all that shit. That's fine. It'll probably go up a little bit from what I'm actually paying right now. So if you have a little bit, I've got it all covered now. If it goes up a little bit, it'll be a burden on me. But if you have a little bit, it won't be any burden on me at all. You work 2 days a week, 20 hours, I mean, maybe it's not even total, like, maybe like 40 hours a month. Fucking what? It can be anywhere every time, depending on if you're getting paid. Fuck. If you're making like even like 380, 300, give me about 50 to cover the extra costs and the extra water and electricity. We're square. The rest is yours, sweetheart. Have a fucking blast. That's all my bills went up, so as long as you cover that, we're good. God bless the child that's got his own or her own. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and head out. If anyone's watching, thanks for tuning in. I don't know if it's interesting, if it helped. I don't know. I'm just doing these because I like to do them. I'm just wanting to talk. Like I said, it's helping me to not be so talkative in public situations. I'm out here all by myself, so when I finally get a chance to actually talk to people, I tend to like go on for way too long. Because I'm out here, it's by myself, man, chilling. But with these, I actually get most of my talking out. So I find that like used to when I would like talk to people, like even for like a short bit, I would tend to like write a lot longer sentences and stuff, and I tend to ramble on and talk a lot. So I mean, it gets all over everybody in my circle, which is nobody, but anyone comes in my circle, you're getting a conversation. Um, I'll let you go if you want to. I mean, there's like now, there's nothing that makes anybody have to stick around. They can bail out anytime they want. Um, doesn't mean I won't be still at home talking like I am doing right now and just talking to my damn self. I don't care. Um, Again, like I said, later on in life, maybe I'll look back on these and see what's changed, if anything's like, man, I was stupid. I thought a lot of stupid shit back then. Or maybe I'll be like, still believe that shit. Still say I'm right. All right, you guys have a good morning, evening. It's Saturday. Saturday the 1st of February. Trump is supposed to enact his tariffs today. Canada has a war room to handle the tariffs and any threats that he throws out. Mexico seems to not be backing down. Panama is not backing down. Which is going to make us look so fucking weak that one, we're attacking our allies. So other allies go, well, don't get in fucking bed with America because look, I mean, they're like to the north and to the south. They're like threatening them with all kinds of shit, and they're friends. They've been friends. And now, thanks to the orange one, for some reason, the rest of the fucking country believes they're not friends. Are they stupid? Why are they being like, is this legal? Somehow. Why don't they do something about it? Some are afraid to do anything about it. The other ones want this to happen, even though they know he's a racist piece of shit. That's why they voted for him. Oh, well, fuck them. Yeah, we definitely don't want to be part of that then. They were been lying this. Yeah, they've been lying this whole time. The racists have been racist. They haven't been, it's not been about states' rights. And it's just been strictly racism and lack of understanding of anything, how anything works at all, including human anatomy. One of them believes that in a legitimate rape, I don't know what a legitimate rape would be. I guess an illegitimate rape would be one out of wedlock. I don't know. I don't know. That the body has a way of shutting that down. He didn't give us any more of his doctorly wisdom about how a woman's body just shuts that down so that they don't. I think it's one of those ones that, like, the kid trading cards when he was younger. You can get a girl pregnant by peeing in her vagina type stuff. You know what I mean? Just misinformation, just bad because they didn't have sex ed. So just like, well, I mean, sometimes if you go in the back door, your wife can have a brown baby. Yeah, I didn't think it was possible either, but I didn't think those two tubes were connected at all. She says they are. It's her body. She should know. But I always was told that if you do it about the back door that you can't get pregnant. But I mean, she got pregnant, and the baby came out brown. I guess because I was in her brown hole when I did it. I don't know. That kid doesn't look like me. It's all my fault. I don't know. I don't know what happened. You didn't take sex ed, so you're stupid. Then you said that your kids didn't take sex ed, so they're stupid. And so the facts running around their head are more like I said, trading card facts among friends. They're more like Chuck Norris memes, you know what I mean? Those are going around for a while. It's not real. It might be funny, it might be an interesting concept and idea, but it's not real. I haven't slept, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some sleep, and I'm probably gonna get some coffee and then get some sleep. And oh, come on, it's only been a few extra minutes. Don't start. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes. Last time we talked was 3 hours and 7 minutes. Calm down just a little bit. See what I'm saying about people being a little bit After 3 hours was another 8 minutes, 9 minutes, soon to be 10 minutes. Let's stick around and find out.